Hey there, Reverend Sully, Eric O'Sullivan, ordained on the internet. The caveat, as always, please do not burn your hands holding on to my hot takes. If you do, well, that's on you, gal, or pal, or anyone in between in this great spectrum of humanity. All right, Happy New Year. I mean that. It's January 1st, 2022, where the ball has dropped. And I could make that a metaphor about my love life, but I'm not going there. That's right. It's been 50 years since 1972, so I got a lot to look forward to this year, huh? That's a darn good cup of coffee. And what are we going to talk about today? Well, let's do what everyone else is doing, okay? We're going to do a top five list of movies of 2021. We're going to do a list. As one of my favorite YouTubers who got me into this. This one's for you, Jenny Nicholson. I love Jenny Nicholson. You should tune into her My Little Pony a Bronies documentary. Blew my mind. I could actually see parallels to Trump voters, and that Trump voters were closer to a fandom. They were like bronies. They like to stomp their feet and make chants and be all together wearing the same gear and sharing a culture. And it opened my mind about wow. So yeah, check out Jenny Nicholson's My Little Pony Bronies, a documentary. It's an hour and a half long. I'll leave her link in the description. Also, her Rise of Skywalker was a perfect, perfect, heartfelt culmination of being a Star Wars fan these days, and having so much love for Star Wars. So, with that said, I bring to you a numbered list. That's right. I'm doing the five best films of 2021 that I watched. Okay, and yeah, it's people celebrating the new year. This is what we're doing. I'm a huge film fan. I love movies. I got to see two movies in the movie theater this year. With it still being, a little bit COVID crazy out there, we get the pandemic panic, and yeah, it's just movies are just going to the movies is a lot different these days. Yet I watched maybe five new movies. I watched, yeah, this is my top five list. I only saw four new movies this year. Only. And two of them were at the movie theater. And I go to the movie theaters. I love movies. Movies, movies, movies. I've got stacks of them in my living room in shelves. Criterion versions, I tell you. Things are, it's like a video store out there. I worked in a video store in high school, so that's maybe pining for glory days. At number five, The Matrix Resurrections. I found Matrix 4 to be a mixed bag, mostly good. Kind of like that Christmas bin
As more banks craft plans to get bigger at Brookline.
of junk food I saw. I got I'm sorry about that. Um, I got a gift tin of junk food from my mom, and there were always like one or two things left over in that thing that you didn't eat. You're like, it's just not for me. So that's like that really defines for me my experience with Matrix Resurrections. It's everything bad everyone says it is, yet I got a lot of good in there too, and I got some philosophy out of it. I got some clever, deep humor. I stand with Robert Mayer Burnett and Paulie the Latino Slant, and also the Red Letter Media Boys, who made a great Matrix movie review. It's about 45 minutes long. Worth it if you liked this movie, because Jay and Mike, they liked it too. Yeah, it was fun. It's half in the bag. Great series if you like movies. At number four is Coming to America. Um, it's the one movie I didn't watch on the list. Yet I want to, and I know I will like it. It's on Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime is the only TV station I got left. It's free with my shipping, and maybe I'll watch it after this. Um, that's it. Yeah, I didn't see it. That's the. Why is it above Matrix? Why not? And for obvious reasons. I'm gonna like it more, and it's probably a lot more fun. Fun goes a long way in my movies. So at number three, my number three movie of 2021 is Spider-Man: No Way Home. It was a really fun movie. I'm gonna have my movie of the week be about that. I'll get into it. Spoilerific details. No spoilers here. I'll let you know that the only spoiler I had going into this movie was the casting, but none of the story points were spoiled for me. Thank goodness. That's how much people love and respect this movie, and that the the major plot points were not spoiled. I stopped watching Walking Dead because Mondays became terrible on Twitter. Um, things get spoiled so quickly on social media that I'm really impressed and grateful that the spoilers there were no spoilers of of anything like worthy so far I've seen. So yay, congrats to us. There is still good humanity. All right. And I also want to thank Brightest Day, Macklin Made It, Thomas Gilkey, the Gilkinator, and Pope Metallicus the Second. Five of us. We met out here on YouTube in our YouTube community, our fellowship, and we all had a mini meetup. We went to supper, and then we went to the movies all together. We're gonna do it again in March. We're gonna go see the Batman in Providence, Rhode Island. So if you're tuned in, you're part of the fellowship. You got us on Twitter, probably. Get in on this. We're gonna put the general invite out again for March 2022 um, in Providence, Rhode Island. TBA for the Batman. Matt Reeves, the Batman. I was going to pass on this. I got a group of us. I was going to pass on Batman. You know what? I'm going now. I might go in my Robin cosplay. I would. I should. All right, at the number two movie for 2021 for me this year for Reverend Sully is The Many Saints of Newark. This movie was really, really good. I am a huge Sopranos fan. I I had the box set. I watch it once a year. I watch it with the commentary tracks on. I just watched a really in-depth podcast over lockdown 2020. Much respect and love to Steven Sciarippa and Michael Imperioli of Talking Sopranos. It was a pre-existing gig that they had before lockdown March 2020 happened, but by that time they were only a few episodes into the first season. They were watching and doing a podcast about every episode of Sopranos, starting with the pilot all the way until the finale. It took them about 2 years. It was every Monday would be a new podcast. It was a wonderful experience behind the curtain. They talked to writers, the producers. They talked to David Chase twice. They had most of the cast on, and everyone would have a heartfelt thing to say about the dearly departed James Gandolfini, who played the mob boss Tony Soprano. And I've also got to bond with the most random comic book YouTubers out there over Sopranos, like Ethan Van Sciver and Cecil. I mean, we could talk Sopranos for hours. And Paulie, the Latino Slant, Paulie had me on his channel. We did a live stream covering the Many Saints in Newark after it premiered. I'll leave a link in the description. Maybe you can catch up on that. Give Paulie a subscription, give him a like, and smash that like button and everything. Paulie's got great content, a lot of culture, a lot of music. He's a proud Chicano from LA, and I love it because I'm a proud Irish kid from South Boston. No wonder why we get along. This is great. So yeah, and I haven't even talked about the movie really. I mean, Paulie mentioned something about the movie that's really poignant. He sold me on it. I sold Ethan on it. That the twin uncle in prison was all in Dickie's mind. It was a guilt trip. It was the dream sequence. Sopranos is full of dream sequences. We know this. Tony's coma dream lasted a few episodes. So this could be like Dickie's guilt. He called it magical reality. Um, and that and it explains something like Birdman with Michael Keaton, and I'm like, oh, that. He's given me the vocabulary I need to properly describe this, and yeah, he's a huge cinema fan. I'm talking about Paulie the Latino Slant, who sold me on this idea of a magical reality, and that Dickie Moltisanti was Junior was not going to prison to visit his his dead father's twin brother. That it was all in his mind, and there are clues there too. And this is the value of good cinema. And it was a really, really good movie. I started at the movie theaters. It was my first movie back after things started opening. And there were only about five other people in the theater, and everyone was so spread apart. Um, and but and to balance with Spider-Man, which broke the $1 billion mark within a week. Spider-Man, we saw about 8 days after it premiered, and it was a mostly packed movie theater. I'd say I looked around a couple of times. It looked like 90% full in there. It could have been more. And but yeah, so the Many Saints in Newark, a Sopranos movie. I'm looking forward to hearing from people who don't know about the Sopranos to see how well they enjoyed this wonderful period piece. And it was, oh, it just, and we call them Easter eggs, and they're there in the story to remind the vested viewer about, oh hey, that's why we're watching the reboot or the prequel. Yeah, so it's full of that too. So that's my number two movie is The Many Saints of Newark, and my number one movie of the year. Um, Probably no surprise. Denis Villeneuve's adaptation of the first half of Dune, what he calls Dune Part 1, and we will be getting Dune Part 2. The funniest thing I hear people say that Timothy Chalamet is such a twink or such a little he this is wafy emo kid. Him like yes, that is Paul Atreides. The great casting, really good casting. I even overlooked my four fates of Dr. Liet Kynes argument because I have a huge problem not with race swapping or gender swapping per se. Those have been things that have been going on longer in fictions and adaptations than we are even cognizantly realizing at this point. Where there's just a lot of there's a lot going on with sensationalism. But when you're changing story notes and the fate of a character because you change their gender and you change their race, you have to change their fate, or else it's going to be, you know, politically incorrect in a intersectional way. And I mean that an intersectional is literally with a capital I. It's a theory that the more more labels that you own, it's like a power multiplier behind your argument. And this is just a layman's explanation of the capital I intersectional. So if you hear about intersectional, it's like me saying like, hey, I'm poor, I'm Irish, and I'm a union person. What do you got for me? Like that. Those are the intersection of three different things in my life that I feel support my argument in any argument. So that's that. So, but Dune was a wonderful movie. Beautiful. It was like I'm a huge Dune fan. I got tattoos. I've got on my arms. Never thought I'd get tattoos on my arms. An ex-girlfriend gave this playing card to me. It's called the Loteria. It's a Mexican thing. She was Mexican American from South Texas, and she put this scorpion tattoo, an actual card number 4052, from the Don Clemente Loteria deck, and I fell in love with it. And I never thought I wanted a tattoo on my body, and I had this done in Nuevo Progreso, Mexico, a border town near Brownsville, Texas. A guy named Juanillo from Tattoo Azteca, and yeah, and he was like, yeah, no problem, and gave me this awesome tattoo when I was about 32 years old, and so yeah, this is not cultural appropriation. This is my love of Spanish culture, and of Hispanic people, and I have a card up my sleeve. Yeah, I also have this Qui Bono. It's Latin. It means who profits. Follow the money. So important. I had to write it down on my sleeve. I was going to get the Arabic phrase Hark al Ada written on my forearm. I still have it written down, but it's literally Arabic, and it comes from the third Dune book, um, Children of Dune, and um, Harkal Ada is a name of a character, and it means changing of the habit or breaking of the habit. And this is what it quite literally means in modern day Arabic on Earth as well. And the character of Faradin Carino becomes one with the Atreides, and as a reward, the God Emperor Leto II gives him a new identity as an Atreides. And you are now Harkal Ada Atreides, because he's marrying the sister Ganima. No spoilers. Oh no! I'm sorry, but Denis Villeneuve's Dune was everything that it was supposed to be. It was beautiful. The costumes, the special effects, the fight scenes. I mean, Duncan Idaho was really elevated in this movie more so than he has been in the past two adaptations, The Lynch and the Sci-Fi Network. Um, Casting was wonderful on Duncan Idaho using Jason Momoa, and so by having this actor, they really got to deepen the role. Why? Because Duncan Idaho is a major character in five of this in the next five Dune novels. Duncan Idaho returns. He returns in the sci-fi adaptation. He's he's in the second book. I'm not going to give away how, but also the books stretch thousands of years. How is Duncan Idaho still alive in all these books? Duncan Idaho is probably is us, in a way, a cipher, the common man. He was an infantry soldier who elevated himself to be the best of the best. He became the sword master, I believe. He was trained Paul, and because there was always Thufir Hawat, the master of assassins, and Gurney Halleck, the leader of basically the general of the Atreides military. Mm. Yeah, I need a sip. My poor throat, just yapping on about movies. But yeah, Dune. It was so well done, even with Dr. Kynes being race and gender swapped, and the impact that had on story. I mean, you're retooling the story to fit 20, these modern socio-political identity mores, and yeah, that didn't sit well with me because I did a whole video on that. You should look it up. I'll leave that in this corner, and because it relates. And we're talking Dune, and Dune was my number one movie of 2021. I got to watch that on HBO Max at home, and found hey, that was a pleasant experience. And I also watched Matrix that way as well. I was blessed to have gone to the movie theaters twice this weird year. And that's all I got for the movies of 2021. Well, except for I did write down a couple of more. Three movies that I missed this year that I need to get on. And yeah, in September I missed Cry Macho. I'm a huge Clint Eastwood fan. I was really looking forward to seeing this. If you're a movie fan, that you know that Cry Macho has been in development hell for 40 years, and so it's finally been made, and so I want to see how it's done, and to see Eastwood. He's a master. He's literally a maestro, an auteur. He's been behind the camera as much as he's been in front of the camera, and that's the majority of his life. and which is older than me. I mean, he's 90 years old. He was 92 years old, still making movies. That means you're going to your set, you're proofreading the scripts. It's a it's an aerobic job like being a chef. I'm a chef, but I'm always in motion and I'm always thinking. I'm always writing something down. There are very few, you know, low moments in a day. It's like not like working in the office. You know, office work is real work too. I've done both. Yet to be a chef, to be constantly moving, I literally can burn 800 to 1,000 calories in a workday, depending on how busy it is and how much I move my body. So, you know, take that, office worker. No, no, everyone has their role and everyone does their job. But Cry Macho, I mean, that was one I missed and one I'm looking forward to seeing. In June, I missed In the Heights. I love Hamilton. I saw Hamilton in Chicago in 2017. It was worth every penny. We were on the floor, 20 rows up, so there were great seats. Um, yeah, I just and I here I am stammering. Sorry. But I remember going to see my first Broadway musical in 2007, 2008. It was Spring Awakening, and I saw it in a real Broadway theater. I forget which. I got the movie stub somewhere. I can look it up. But In the Heights was playing across the street, and this is when Lin Manuel Miranda became being big on the scene. That this is like that was his first Broadway musical. That was like him like yeah, that was it. And then after that came Hamilton. He had his now he's a Broadway legend. He's like the head of this next generation of Andrew Lloyd Rice's. Isn't that wonderful? And we just lost Stephen Sondheim, but you have people, humans like Lin Manuel Miranda, to take the standard, to pick up that flag, to pick up the torch, and lead the way. And I like musicals. I just watched Sound of Music for Christmas with loved ones. That was great. I saw Annie on off Broadway here in Boston in 1978 or 79. Andrew McArdle was still like the lead playing Annie. I had the album. I was love that music. You want to see me cry? You play music from Annie. I weep. It is maybe he's rich, maybe he's fine. Do as long as he's mine. Maybe I cry, dude. I'm an emotional dude, and in July I missed Summer of Soul, which is a documentary. I love documentaries about a music concert in the late '70s or early and was it the early '60s, late '70s, and it's got like nothing but soul music. I I grew up white and Irish in South Boston. My mom was from Dorchester. She had brown friends and black friends. We were the weird people of South Boston. We lived in the projects, and would have her Spanish friends come over, and her black friends come over occasionally. Yeah, we were kind of like the weird project people. I'm blessed to have as many friends as I did. She had something funny to say. She's like, "Yeah, they all kind of hate me because I'm from Dorchester, but they like you because you're one of them." That's South Boston for you. Cheers, Slancha, Wicked Pissa. And that is Reverend Sully's movies of 2021. My top 5 movies. And that's number 5 is Matrix Resurrections. Number 4, Coming to America, which I haven't seen yet. Number 3 was Spider-Man No Way Home, which was so fun, entertaining, and it was a great experience as a Spider-Man fan. Number 2 was The Many Saints of Newark, the Sopranos prequel movie. It was a great period piece and a really awesome movie on top of being the Sopranos prequel. And my number 1 movie is Denis Villeneuve's Dune Part 1. It was 2.5 hours long and I didn't feel it one bit. It had great sound design. I missed seeing it in IMAX. I hope they re-release it on IMAX, especially with the second movie I would see both. I would pack a lunch for 5 hours and be in a movie theater with an intermission. I would love that, and to see it in IMAX and get really overwhelmed by the sound design and the Hans Zimmer music. And yeah, that sound of car playing. That was the creepiest part of it, wasn't it? Yeah, that Tuval throat singing part and just this huge ASMR vibe. It's like it's like your bones are rattling. Like my bones haven't rattled because of the sound system in a movie house since Jurassic Park. And there's a King's bowling alley there now. Um, but yeah, that was my top five movies of 2021. What are your top five movies of 2021? You got a minute or two? Write it in the comments section. Let's continue this conversation. That's a great idea. Give me a thumbs up if you like this kind of content. Give me a thumbs down if you didn't. I'm a big lad. I can handle it. And you know what? I would love to earn your subscription. I want to be part of your YouTube daily experience, and you could use the positivity. I go on occasional rants, but that's just being balanced. I make cooking videos. I'm a professional chef. I want to give you delicious, nutritious, and beautiful cooking hacks so you can impress your loved ones at your table when it's time to break bread. I'm also a spiritual guy. I make spiritual videos. I'm an ordained minister, an amateur theologian. I say, let's get spiritual, and we often do. It for today. I hope you had a decent 2021. I did. I'm here. I'm working. I can breathe. I've lost and kept off weight. My parents are wonderful. They're healthy. Um, I have friends. We're all, we all have our pandemic places and plans, and but we all miss each other, and we're all looking forward to all hanging out, too, which is great. And it's good and I got to meet people from my YouTube community, my fellowship here, our fellowship, and it's the first of many meetings. And I'm looking forward to more time spent so we can get even more geeky. And I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be Providence to see The Batman by Matt Reeves, starring Sheila Booth and starring Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz and Colin Farrell and was that Paul Cena or no Paul Darrow? Is that his name? Is that Dano? Paul Dano. He was great in There Will Be Blood. Remember him? And yeah, he's playing the Riddler. But you know what I mean. So looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone, and I'm even thinking about going in cosplay. I've gone on long enough. It's been a good long video for me. So thank you so much if you're still here, and smash that like button, please. Cheers. Have a good day, and go follow Paulie Latino Slant, and you'll see what I mean. Lots of live music and good culture, and lots of nerdy, geeky stuff too. Cheers.